go live in about 30 seconds.
Okay. Okay. Okay, hello everybody. November 30th, Friday. Hope you had a good week. A few of you have been asking me how often these videos take place. We're going to do them about once a week. More if necessary, but generally we could do it once a week. More is not necessarily better. Okay, let's take a look at the S&P. So, if you remember, we talked about this significant level here of 2652. This was a down day of October 24th. Right here, this level right here where my cursor was. That was significant, 2652. Remember, we always want to talk about significant levels. Now, this bar tested the significant level, closed above. So that's one good sign. It went all the way up. And then it came down and kind of tested, as you can see, this low right here of 2627.25. And it actually closed above, which is a good sign. So here, the low here is 2627.25. Sorry, 2627.25. It went to a low of 2626 and closed above that low. A red bar closed above that low. So you could have got long somewhere above this red bar here. The red bar opened at 2650, and you could have had a big long on that. Now, on an intraday basis, we looked at this on November 27th at the S&P. You see this bar here? It's an outside bar right here at 8:30. Right here, below yesterday's close. An outside bar is a good bar. Sometimes we look at the 60-minute when we have a bullish bias. So it closed here. Now we don't like to buy it on the top of green bars, but you can see after that 9:30 close, it came down into the bottom of this bar, which is 26.55 right here. And once it traded above here, 26.62.25, a few points above 26.64, we got long at 26.64. And I actually recommended a 2-day hold. So you could have got about 80 points on that. So for, let's say you're trading 5 contracts, that's $20,000. Okay, it's basically 80 points on one contract is $4,000. So on 5 contracts would be 20,000, depending on how many contracts it is. So whenever we're getting in, we're holding for a minimum of 2 days. So once again, we had a bullish bias on the daily, because I like this scenario here. It closed above this low of October 26th on November 23rd. We had a bullish bias, and we used that bullish bias to get in on an intraday basis here. It was a bullish outside bar. For those of you who study candlesticks, this is a bullish outside bar near the lows here. Okay? And then once it tested the low of that bar, we don't like buying on green bars because it will just go, usually it comes down. Once it tested this low of the bar and went above it, we bought it. And we also liked it because it was below the 60-minute 200, which is right here. And you could have held it most of it for, I like holding for a minimum of 2 days on an intraday trade. So you could have held it for an 80-point move and you could still be in some of it profitable. So that's the S&P. That's the big mover. So there's a lot of money to be made in the S&Ps, and so you got to be there to take advantage of it. I'm looking at it right now. It's at 27.56. So that's 100 points. For those of you who are big traders, 100 points on a 20 lot is $100,000. Okay, but most of you don't have that capital to trade. Most of you are trading 2 lots, 5 lots. It's still a lot of money. You still make $20,000 on a trade like that on a small lot. Okay, let's take a look. We're only gonna take a look at the things that internet's pretty slow today. Copper, if you remember, we're in last week at 277. It's at 278.50. We're holding right now. Let's look at a weekly chart of copper. Remember, we like the action around the 200 weekly. Red bar close above. Red bar close above. Comes down. Closes above here. So we like this action. So we're long on copper from 277. It's at 278.50. And we're looking copper to go right above here at 326. Some of you are asking me why we went long copper. Well, great action around the 200 weekly. Like I said, red bar close above, comes in and tests the low, near the low of this bar, and closes above. So we like that action. And we're looking at, remember, we always look for something to test resistance. We buy it at support, sell at resistance. So copper is good. It's the early stage of a trade. Let's look at our other positions. Dollar, we're still long from 94. Now, at the end of the day, we're going to get out of most of our position here at 97. So that's going to be a positive trade. That's 3 points. For those of you who are trading 20, let's just use 10 contracts, for example. On 10, you're basically up $30,000 on that. So we're out of 2/3 of our position at the end of the day here on the dollar. Again, we wanted to close above this blue line, which we're going to get at the end of the week. Okay, so out of most of it. Natural gas, we've been talking about that for months now. It's a huge winner. We're out of it. We got in at 299. We got out of some at 335, 319, and then some. We got out of some around 450. We're out of that whole position. That was a big, big winner for us. And you can see it's just continuing to go up, But that's how you make money. You make money on these commodity trades, which you have to hold. You buy them at support, sell them at resistance. Buy them when they're below the 40 weekly and the 200 weekly. Look for indications of a buy. Never buy above the 40 weekly, which is the 200 daily, or the 200 weekly. Buy at support, sell at resistance. Seems simple, not that simple, but those are some of the general rules. We look at weekly charts and monthly charts for commodities. For the S&Ps, we look at daily charts. So you want to have a strict stop loss. Your timing's got to be good, and then you got to be patient. And if you do those 3 things, you're going to make a lot of money. If you don't, you're going to lose a lot of money. So I suggest you do those things. We're not big fans of retracements, like other educators like to educate you on retracements, drawing fancy lines, this and that. Why? Too many retracement levels. The 38, the 50, the 61, the 78, the 86. You could buy, some people say you should buy it to 38. Some people say you should buy it to 50. Some people say you should buy it to 62. Some people buy between the 62 and the 78. There's just too many variables. There's too many unknowns, too subjective. So we like buying at support zones. We have systems to identify that support zones. And then we have to determine, you can't just buy on a green candle at a support zone. You've got to be careful. So those are some of the scenarios. Okay, so copper we're in, like we said. Still in on copper. Natural gas, we're out. And the dollar, we're mostly out. So for those of you who are still in the S&P who didn't get out, you could hold a partial position. Now let's look at the Swiss franc, which I was looking at earlier today in a monthly. Swiss franc was an important zone here of 99.84 right here. You could see it. If you look, you could see it more carefully. Sometimes you have to look at a weekly to get a closer view. You can see this was an important zone here. 99.93. It was below the 40 weekly, below the blue, below the black. It went above this pivot, so that makes it an important zone. 99.93. And you're getting some good monthly tests of that zone here. Okay? So this bar you could see made a successful test of that number. It closed here. Let's bring this here. Having trouble. This bar closed above it. Now look at this red bar. It closed below it, below this bar, below the low of the bar. And now up for a second. Let me re-roll the charts. Okay.
Attention, an alert target has been reached.
And now we're getting a close above this red bar, which dropped down. So it's like a good bar over here. It breaks down and looks like it's a failed breakdown, and it's going to recover on a monthly basis. So I'd actually be buying the Swiss franc over here. So I suggest a buy on the Swiss franc. Now, if we look at it on a weekly basis, what we like, it's below the 40, below the 200 weekly. It's coming from oversold here, 17. So we like it on a weekly also. So we like it on a monthly. So I have a buy net. S&P's taking off, 27.58.50. Let's look at Bitcoin, which is boring. It hardly moves. I mean, it just moves to the downside a bit. Kind of the action is dead in that. 39.45. It broke out of this channel. There's no support in sight. Nothing to do here. Nothing to do here. If you want to look at another, yeah. You want to see it recover somewhere, maybe one of these big bars. There's nothing to do in Bitcoin right now. The action is in the S&P and natural gas, the dollar, potentially the Swiss franc. Let's take a look at some other charts. Take a look at oil. A lot of downside in oil. $50.64. This is the 200 weekly, the black one. Let's see how it acts there. Let's see if we could get some. But right now, it's just there's no support in sight. You got to wait on oil. Canadian. It's broke out of this trend line, this downward trend line. Next big support zone is somewhere down here. Nothing to do in the Canadian. Let's look here at the euro. Nothing to do here. Talked about a parabolic move up, parabolic move down. We like buying below the black and below the blue. It's you know, we wanted to see a drop down to another support zone. Nothing to buy there. Take a look at that. Japanese yen. Next big support zone. It's consolidating and doing nothing. Let's take a look at silver. Lower lows. Nothing to do here. Next big support zone's over here. You got to wait, be patient. We got enough action. Copper we're in. S&Ps, we just had a big trade. We took profits. Natural gas, we just had a big trade. Dollar, we just had a big trade out of most of it. And now we're buying the Swiss franc. So, no, we have enough action. No rush to do anything more. Okay, that will be a wrap for this weekend. Hope you have a good weekend, everybody. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. If you want to get on the free trial, go into toptradingsignals.us. Okay, thank you.